branded the ugly high school grad, and cast out by my family. A decade later, I saw them at my sister's wedding. Her husband asked, "Do you know her?" I replied, "More than you realize." I walked into my sister's fairy tale wedding with a manila folder that could shatter a dynasty. By the time I walked out, my father was in handcuffs, and every illusion we lived by was dead. I'm Rebecca Mitchell. I'm 32. 10 years gone. And on that day, I stood at the entrance of my sister Amanda's lavish venue, heart hammering, watching familiar faces who had no idea who I'd become. Amanda looked stunning, radiant, glowing, blissfully unaware of why I was really there. My father's voice floated across the room, praising his only loyal daughter. The words sliced. I gripped the folder that could end our perfect family brand in a single breath. The wedding planner announced it was time for speeches, and I started toward the microphone. If you're watching this and you've ever been betrayed by the people meant to protect you most, you are not alone. Family secrets don't stay buried forever. They explode. Tell me where you're watching from today, I'm listening. And if this story resonates, tap subscribe. I share real stories where family karma finally catches up. Now, let me take you to where it all began. I grew up in Fairfield, Connecticut, where lawns are clipped with surgical precision and lives are curated like museum exhibits. Our 6-bedroom colonial had a heated pool and a tennis court. People envied us. My father, James Mitchell, was a respected heart surgeon at Greenwich Memorial. My mother, Elizabeth, was a perfect socialite, charity galas, country club memberships, a smile that never cracked in public. Amanda arrived 3 years after me. From the start, she was my shadow. I read her bedtime stories, braided her hair, chased off Westfield Academy mean girls. We whispered secrets under blanket forts and pinky promised we'd stand in each other's weddings someday. When thunderstorms rattled the windows, she'd crawl into my bed. "Becca," she'd whisper, "promise we'll always be sisters." "I promise, Mandy," I'd say. Nothing could come between us. But beneath the gloss, rot was spreading. I was 14 when I heard it, the voice my father reserved for women who weren't my mother. I confronted him. He slapped me so hard my ears rang. His first time ever hitting me. His eyes went cold. "You will never mention this again," he hissed. "This is adult business." And my mother? She numbed herself with vodka hidden in water bottles. By noon most days, her speech would slip. I'd find her passed out in the sunroom. "Headaches," she would say at dinner. Always headaches. As we got older, we adapted differently to the toxicity. I rebelled, black hair, too much eyeliner, curfew a joke, calling out the hypocrisy. Amanda doubled down on perfection. Straight A's. Student council. Charity hours curated for college apps. Pretty posts. Pretty smiles. "Why do you have to make everything difficult?" she'd plead after I'd sparred with our father. "Just play along." "Because it's all fake," I'd snap. "You don't see how messed up this is?" She didn't want to see. Our father praised her. I got shade. In public, he'd beam, "This is my brilliant daughter, Amanda." Then gesture vaguely at me. "And this is Rebecca." The beginning of the end came on my 18th birthday. He'd staged a classy country club dinner I never wanted, because that was Mitchell tradition. I noticed his hand lingering too long on the 25-year-old event coordinator's back. Later, I caught them kissing in his office while I was hunting for champagne. Something in me snapped. I returned to the dining room, the 30 guests, the donors, the board members, the relatives. I clinked my glass. "Thank you for coming," I said, voice steady even though my hand shook. Silence fell. My mother went pale. Amanda looked mortified. My father's face morphed from shock to fury. "Rebecca is intoxicated," he announced smoothly. "Inappropriate jokes. Jessica is a family friend helping tonight. Let's wrap up." 30 minutes later, guests were ushered out with apologies and gift bags. At home, my father detonated. "You ungrateful little bitch," he roared across the marble kitchen. "Do you have any idea what you've done? Those people are hospital board members, donors." "Good," I shot back. "Let them see who you really are." He laughed without humor. "I gave you everything. This house. Your education. Your clothes. You gave me nothing but embarrassment." My mother stared at her wine. Amanda cried in the doorway. Becca, how could you? You ruined everything. And that was the moment I realized I was alone in a house full of people. I want you out, my father said, suddenly calm. Two choices. Keep quiet, apologize, follow the rules. Or leave and never come back. I looked to my mother for help. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Mandy, I whispered, you know I'm telling the truth. She shook her head. You're being dramatic. You always have to be the center of attention. That cut deeper than the slap. Fine, I said. I'll leave. I packed a backpack. Clothes. Toiletries. A few photos. He watched from my doorway, arms crossed. Your cards are canceled. The car stays, my name's on the lease. He handed me $500 bills. This is more than you deserve. Don't contact us. Don't come back. Don't use our name. You're dead to us now. I stepped into the October chill with $500 and a backpack. 18. No one followed. The first year was a free fall. Shelters when I could. Friends' couches until their parents got tense. Minimum wage jobs, gas station cashier, overnight stalker at a grocery store, diner dishwasher. I cleaned locker rooms at a gym to get a shower. I learned which fast food places let you sit for hours on a single coffee. Libraries became my refuge. Not once did my family call, text, or email. Rebecca Mitchell died that night, at least to them. 6 months in, I hit rock bottom, fired after falling asleep at a register following a 30-hour stretch awake. Huddled in a bus station with everything I owned, I made myself a promise. I would not just survive. I would win. And one day, he would regret throwing me away. The next morning, I walked into Hartford Community College. With my grades from Westfield, I qualified for need-based scholarships and aid. I rented a shabby room with 4 students. I took 3 jobs: morning barista, afternoon library assistant, weekend server. My life was a loop: classes 8 to 2, work until midnight, study until 3, sleep 4 hours, repeat. Ramen and day-old pastries. Thrift store clothes. DIY haircuts. And for the first time in my life, I felt honest. I wasn't performing for the Mitchell brand. I was just me. Second semester, I took Intro to Law with Professor Linda Harris. She was everything I wanted to be: brilliant, composed, respected without demanding it. After I aced the first exam, she asked me to stay. You have a remarkable analytical mind, Rebecca, she said. But you look exhausted. Are you okay? Her kindness broke through my armor. I told her everything. The family. The ultimatum. The couch surfing, the exhaustion, the vow. She didn't pity me. She understood. I was homeless for a time in my 20s, she shared. It wasn't easy. But look at me now. She became more than a mentor. She became the mother I needed. She helped me stack scholarships. Fed me home-cooked meals sometimes. Most of all, she believed in me when I didn't. You have fire, she'd say. Channel it. With her help, I graduated with honors and a paralegal certification, then worked at a small firm while applying to law schools. When Columbia sent an acceptance with a partial scholarship, Linda helped me navigate aid. She even co-signed a student loan. Pay it forward, she said. That's all I ask. Law school was brutal and glorious. Intellectually harder, but life was more stable. I ate real food. Slept in a bed I paid for. Excelled in financial crimes and healthcare law. Insurance fraud, Medicare rules, medical malpractice, it all clicked. After graduation, I joined Donovan Wright and Pearson in Manhattan, corporate law, financial crimes. I started like everyone else, 80-hour weeks, document review, partner coffee runs. I volunteered for every tough case. I stayed later than everyone. By year 5, I was a junior partner, the youngest in firm history. Brooklyn apartment. Tailored suits. Colleagues' respect. I had transformed from homeless teenager into a woman who built her own life. I was not afraid of his shadow anymore. Then came the file that would split my life in 2. Rebecca, we need you on the Princeton Medical Group investigation, said William Donovan, dropping a thick folder on my desk. Potential Medicare fraud. Unnecessary procedures. Kickbacks. Right up your alley. I flipped through, pen ready. Who's the primary target? Chief of Cardiology, Dr. James Mitchell, he said. Built one of the Northeast's most profitable cardiac programs. Whistleblower says he's been doing unnecessary surgeries and double billing Medicare for years. The folder hit the floor. My father's name. His photo older, gray at the temples, same smirk that charmed patients and mistresses. He had expanded second clinic, Hampton's house, tripled net worth since I left. My first thought was recusal. Conflict of interest. Then another thought crept in. Who better to investigate James Mitchell than the daughter he discarded? I knew his tells. His ego. His patterns. I knew exactly how he thought. For 6 months, I led the investigation quietly. I said nothing about our connection. I interviewed former patients and nurses. Billing specialists. I pored over thousands of records, flagging patterns that didn't make medical sense. I followed money, device companies to shell corporations to offshore accounts. The evidence was devastating. He'd recommended invasive cardiac procedures to people who didn't need them. He falsified test results. He took kickbacks. People suffered. Some died. For profit. Then an elegant cream envelope arrived, Amanda's wedding invitation. Thomas Caldwell III, son of Senator Thomas Caldwell Jr., Greenwich Country Club. The same venue where I'd tried to rip the veil off my father's affair 10 years earlier. Tucked inside, a handwritten note. Becca, I know we have history, but I want my sister at my wedding. Please come. Amanda, how did they find me? Professionally, I was Rebecca M. Lawson. I scrubbed social media. My address was unlisted. Was this genuine? Or a political move? Or something darker? The timing was uncanny. I set the invitation on my counter and stared at it for 3 days. Each morning, I remembered Amanda calling me selfish. My father telling me I was dead. My mother's silence. On day 4, I called Linda. We met in a quiet village restaurant. I handed her the invitation and told her everything. Professionally, she said gently, you should have recused yourself the moment you recognized his name. Shame burned my cheeks. I know. She leaned in. But the investigation is complete. The facts stand without you. Now the question is the wedding. Why invite you now? She listed possibilities. Genuine longing from Amanda, damage control from my father, Caldwell due diligence. That night, memories flooded me, snow angels with Amanda, my father steadying my bike, my mother singing as she brushed my hair. Good memories tangled with betrayal. I dreamed of walking into the wedding, my father's face twisting, my mother dropping her glass, Amanda's mascara melting. I woke sweating. I weighed my options for a week. Ignore it and finish the case. Go and try to reconcile, keep the investigation a secret. Or the nuclear option. Go and expose everything. I booked an emergency session with my therapist, Dr. Winters. What do you hope to achieve? She asked. Closure, I said, then paused. No. Justice. I want them to see who I became without them. And yes, a little revenge. Those are human feelings, she said. But ask yourself, will acting on them bring peace or pain? I decided I would go. Not for reconciliation. For truth. To break the cycle of secrecy. I'd bring evidence and decide in the moment whether to reveal it. I called FBI agent Samantha Taylor, someone I'd worked with on previous financial cases. We met at the federal building. I told her everything, who James Mitchell was to me, why I hadn't recused, the wedding invitation. Disappointment flickered across her face. This could compromise the case, Ms. Lawson. Defense will scream personal vendetta. The evidence stands, I said. It's clean. Authenticated. Corroborated. My connection doesn't change the facts. We struck a deal. The FBI would continue independently of my files. I would attend as Rebecca Mitchell, no public accusations, no law enforcement theatrics. If I chose to confront my family privately, that was my call. We're about 2 weeks from an arrest warrant, she said as I left. Whatever you do at that wedding, remember, justice is coming, with or without a mic. I prepared like I was walking into a deposition with the devil. A classic black dress from Saks. Hair, nails, makeup. A room at the Madison Hotel, a mile from the club. I gave my itinerary to Linda and my assistant Natalie. If you don't hear from me by Sunday night, call Agent Taylor, I said, handing over the number. I packed a slim manila folder, enough to prove his crimes without jeopardizing the FBI's case. The night before I left, my phone rang. Unknown Connecticut number. Hello. Rebecca, it's Amanda. Her voice, older, but instantly her. I wanted to make sure you got the invitation. And to say, I hope you'll come. I'll be there, I heard myself say, flat and far away. Really? She sounded relieved. There's so much I want to talk about. We'll have plenty to discuss, I said, eyeing the folder. Yes, she whispered. We will. When the call ended, I sat and cried. Was I about to make a terrible mistake? I drove up the next morning. Each mile brought a new memory. I checked into the hotel as Rebecca Lawson. I wasn't ready to reclaim Mitchell, not yet. I drove past our old house. New family. New landscaping. I parked near the rehearsal dinner and watched through the window. My father, distinguished, polished. My mother, elegant, thinner. Amanda, glowing beside Thomas Caldwell III. Picture perfect. I drove back and rehearsed what I might say. My mind cycled through endings like a film editor on speed. At dawn, I woke with a racing heart. The ceremony was at 2, but my body was already in fight or flight. I tried to eat. Couldn't. At 11, I started getting ready slowly, carefully, something to ground me. I twisted my hair into an elegant updo, framed the green eyes I got from my mother, and slipped into my dress. I looked nothing like the black-haired teenager who left with a backpack. I looked powerful, composed. But when I closed my eyes, I was 18 again, shivering on the sidewalk. You can do this, I told my reflection. Then the panic hit, tight chest, short breaths. I sank to the floor and let the tears come. 15 minutes of breathing, grounding, naming 5 things I could see, 4 I could touch, 3 I could hear. The wave passed. I fixed my makeup, called a car. Greenwich Country Club, I told the driver. It was exactly the same. Manicured grounds sloping to the sound. White columns. Flowers taller than toddlers. Guests in designer suits gliding across marble. At the entrance, a young woman with a tablet smiled. Name? Rebecca Mitchell. The name felt foreign. Her eyes widened. Oh, Ms. Mitchell. You're on the priority list. An older woman approached. I'm Frances, the coordinator. The bride asked that we escort you in personally. Would you like to see her before the ceremony? No, I said too quickly. I'll find my seat. Of course. You're at table 3 for the reception family table. For the ceremony, would you prefer back is fine, I said. I don't want to disrupt anything. I slipped into the last row aisle seat. Easy exit if I needed it. I watched without being seen. Relatives from holiday dinners moving slower, hair grayer. My father's colleagues in suits. Their wives comparing diamonds. The senator and his wife greeting people like seasoned diplomats. Rebecca? Rebecca Mitchell. I turned. My Aunt Catherine gawked, then hugged me stiffly. We all wondered if you'd come. You look grown up. 10 years will do that, I smiled tightly. Such a shame. All of that, she murmured. But water under the bridge. Before I could answer, her husband called. As she walked off, I heard her whisper to another guest, that's the one who ran off. Troubled. The label burned. I excused myself to the ladies' lounge, splashed cold water on my wrists to steady my pulse. The door opened. My mother froze in the mirror's reflection. She'd aged so much, paler, thinner, auburn hair gone soft gray. Shock flashed, then the old mask slid into place. Rebecca. You came. She moved carefully, as if approaching a skittish animal. Amanda will be pleased. Will she? I asked. Or was my invitation just for optics? Invite the estranged daughter so no one asks questions. That's not fair, she whispered, glancing at the door. Darling, I know things ended badly, but this is your sister's wedding. Let's not make a scene. There it was. The old script. Don't embarrass the family. Keep the secrets. Maintain appearances. I'm not planning a scene, I said evenly. I'm here because she asked me. Relief flickered. Her eyes scanned my dress, my posture, the steel in my spine. You look successful. What are you doing now? Attorney. Junior partner at Donovan, Wright and Pearson. Pride sparked, then faltered. Your father will be surprised. I'm counting on it, I said. She flinched. A woman entered and my mother seized the exit. We'll talk at the reception, she said, squeezing my arm. My hands trembled after she left. She wasn't cold. She was scared. Frail. Sick? On impulse, I found the bridal suite. Amanda's special day glittered on a sign with hearts. I knocked. Come in, a bright voice called. Amanda stood in a mermaid gown, bridesmaids glittering around her. When she saw me, she froze, champagne halfway to her lips. Becca, she whispered. You really came. The bridesmaids glanced at each other and vanished, leaving us alone. She was beautiful. Not just pretty, womanly, polished, glowing. I almost didn't, I said. I wouldn't have blamed you. She walked toward me slowly, like I might disappear. Why did you invite me, Amanda, after 10 years? She gestured to a velvet settee. We sat carefully, lifting the layers of satin. It wasn't 10 years of silence on my side, she said. I tried to find you that first year. I hired a private investigator with my savings. Dad found out. Threatened to pull my college tuition. I raised an eyebrow. You never called. Never emailed. I sent letters to Julie's house. To your old jobs. When those came back, I tried social media. Did you ever check those old accounts? No, I admitted. I cut all ties. I figured that out. She twisted her hands. Becoming a Caldwell means everything gets vetted. Thomas and I want honesty. I don't want to start my marriage with a hole where my sister should be. So this is about the Caldwell's image? No, she said quickly, hurt in her eyes. It's about me. Wanting my sister back. Regretting how I treated you. Wanting to heal something before what? She hesitated. Mom's sick. Late stage. The words slammed into me. Despite everything, there were memories of warmth, singing as she brushed my hair, museum trips, piano lessons. I'm sorry, I said, and meant it. How long? Months, maybe. She wanted to make it to the wedding. She searched my face. You really didn't know? You haven't been keeping tabs. I've been busy building a life without you, I said, sharper than I meant. A knock, 5 minutes, the planner chirped. Amanda stood, smoothing satin. Stay, please. We'll talk at the reception. I nodded. I stepped into the hallway and collided with him. James Mitchell. Older. Silver hair immaculate. Tux tailored. Posture military straight. Shock. Anger. Calculation, his emotions flashed and were gone. Rebecca, he said, controlled. What are you doing here? I was invited. By Amanda, he clipped. Without consulting me. He scanned the guests, reading the room like a surgeon reading monitors. We should talk privately. Nothing to discuss, I said. I'm here for the ceremony and the reception. I'm gone tomorrow. Why now? He growled, lowering his voice. Maybe I miss my family, I said, tone making the lie obvious. Or maybe I'm curious about the Caldwells. Impressive dynasty. Fear flickered in his eyes before he shut it down. Whatever you're planning, don't. This day matters. Beyond us. He stepped closer. How did they even let you in? You weren't on the guest list I approved. So he'd tried to block me. Amanda overruled you, I said, savoring it. She wants her sister here. Music floated in from the garden. His attorney, Richard Porter, hurried over. James, they're ready for you to walk Amanda. He glanced at me. Is this Rebecca? She's leaving shortly, my father muttered. Actually, I'll be at table 3, I said. Family table. Color drained from his face. He whispered urgently to Porter as he walked away. By the way, if you're still with me, hit subscribe. More true, unbelievable family stories are on the way, and you won't want to miss what comes next. The ceremony was a postcard. Amanda glowed. Thomas looked at her like she was the only person on earth. My father played the proud protector flawlessly. He gave her away with a practiced smile. My mother dabbed tears with a monogrammed handkerchief. Senator Caldwell beamed like he'd just closed a deal with destiny. Only I knew it was theater. Cocktail hour. I kept my distance. Twice I caught my father watching me, whispering with Porter. Twice my mother started toward me, then retreated. The reception opened in a ballroom washed in candlelight. As promised, I was at table 3, my parents, the Caldwells, Thomas's sister, and me. Tension hummed under the silverware. "So, Rebecca," the senator said warmly, "Amanda tells us you're an attorney in New York." "Impressive." "Thank you, Senator. I specialize in financial crimes." My father choked on champagne. "Fascinating," the senator continued, oblivious. "Any interesting cases?" "Nothing confidential, of course." "Actually," I said, eyes on my father, "I recently wrapped an investigation into healthcare fraud. A prominent surgeon performing unnecessary procedures, falsifying records, taking kickbacks. The usual story, greed dressed up as care." My father's knuckles went white around his fork. Thomas's mother nodded. "Protecting vulnerable patients matters." "That's exactly how I see it," I said softly. The planner tapped the mic. "Time for speeches." My father stood, smoothed his jacket, walked to the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "as father of the bride, it is my privilege." He went on about Amanda's accomplishments, her heart, her bright future. Family legacy. Values. The sacred trust between parent and child. With every sanctimonious word, something in me hardened. He finished to warm applause. The planner checked her list. "Next, the maid of honor," I stood. "I'd like to say something." "You're not on the program, Miss Mitchell," the planner said, flustered. "I'm the bride's sister," I replied. From the head table, Amanda gave a tiny nod. The planner relented. I took the microphone. The room quieted, the garden club ladies, hospital donors, old money, political operatives. People who had watched our perfected performance for years. "For those who don't know me," I said, "I'm Rebecca, Amanda's older sister." I let the silence expand. "Some of you may be wondering where I've been for the last decade." A ripple of murmurs. On my 18th birthday, my father gave me an ultimatum: keep quiet about his affairs and other family matters. Apologize. Obey. Or leave and never come back. I chose the truth. That night, I left with a backpack and $500. Gasps. Whispers. My father stepped toward the stage. I kept going. For the first year, I was homeless. Shelters. Couch surfing. 3 jobs. I cleaned locker rooms to shower. I learned to stretch $1 and read the room. Not once did my family reach out to see if I was alive. Not once. Amanda covered her mouth. My mother hid her face in her hands. My father signaled desperately to Porter. By the grace of grit and a few good people, my real family, I made it. I graduated from Columbia Law. I'm a junior partner at Donovan Wright and Pearson. I specialize in financial crimes. Which brings me to why I'm speaking. I opened the manila folder. 6 months ago, our firm was assigned to look into Medicare fraud at Princeton Medical Group. Specifically, the practice of Dr. James Mitchell. He recommended unnecessary cardiac procedures for years. Falsified test results. Took kickbacks from device companies. Over 8 years, at least 300 unnecessary surgeries. 12 patient deaths. Millions stolen in fraudulent claims. The room erupted. Senator Caldwell stood, face gray. My father lunged for the stage. 2 of Thomas's military friends stepped up and blocked him. "She's lying," my father bellowed. "This is a vindictive fantasy from a mentally unstable daughter." I didn't flinch. "The FBI has the originals," I said calmly. "These are copies." Right then, the ballroom doors opened. Agent Samantha Taylor walked in with 2 agents. They hadn't been part of my plan, but clearly they'd been watching. "James Mitchell," she said, voice ringing out, "we have a warrant for your arrest on healthcare fraud, false claims, and criminal negligence resulting in death." Chaos. Phones out. Guests whispering. Security shielding the Caldwells. My father, handcuffed, still protesting, still demanding Porter. In the confusion, my mother slumped into her chair. A guard called for medical help. Amanda pushed through in white silk. "How could you?" she cried at the podium. Today of all days. But beneath her shock, I saw something else. Relief. A buried tension releasing. "You knew," I said gently. "Or at least suspected." She looked away. I had concerns. Things he said that didn't add up. "Not like this." "Amanda," the senator barked. "We're leaving. Now." Thomas came to her side, jaw set. My father wants us to distance immediately. The campaign, Amanda looked from him to me torn. Before she could decide, a doctor approached. Your mother is asking for both of you. We found her in a quiet room, oxygen mask fogging with each breath. She looked so small, so human. She removed the mask with trembling fingers. My girls, she whispered. We knelt. Mom, save your strength. No, she said fiercely. I need to say this. She turned to me. Rebecca, I knew about the affairs. Some of the money. Not everything. I was a coward. The alcohol made it easy. I should have stood up for you. I didn't. I'm sorry. Tears burned hot tracks down my face. Why didn't you say something that night? Fear, she said. He controlled everything. The money. The house. Our reputation. And I was already sick, though we hid it. Early symptoms I ignored. She turned to Amanda. You, my perfect daughter, be careful of the cage you're choosing. She paused, breath shuddering. The letters, she whispered, gripping my hand with surprising force. In my blue jewelry box. I kept them from you both. Before I could ask what she meant, the medical team whisked her away. The next morning, it was everywhere. Headlines. Prominent surgeon arrested at daughter's wedding. Caldwell in-law scandal. Medicare fraud rocks political dynasty. My name appeared, too, estranged daughter and the attorney who helped build the case. Reporters camped outside my hotel. I checked out early and drove back to New York. Amanda called on the road. The Caldwells were in full crisis mode. They want an annulment, she said through tears. There's a press conference tomorrow. They expect me to look shocked and devastated by Dad's alleged crimes. Alleged? I said softly. There's nothing alleged about it. I know, she whispered. I believe you. That's what makes this so hard. Where are you? A hotel near the club. I went to the house this morning while Mom was at the hospital. I found the jewelry box. 3 hours later, we sat in my Brooklyn living room with a blue velvet box between us. She looked spent, still in yesterday's clothes. No wedding ring. You should open it, she said. Inside, stacks of envelopes, bundled and rubber-banded. The first bundle, addressed to me in Amanda's handwriting, postmarked weekly that first year after I left. The second, letters from my mother to me, never mailed. The third, letters I had written to Amanda. My breath caught. I never got these, she whispered, holding my letters. I wrote every week, I said, voice shaking. When nothing came back, I wrote less. But I never stopped completely. We read for hours. Amanda's letters were apologies, updates, pleas for me to come home. Mine were field notes from survival jobs, tiny wins, hope. My mother's were confessions, knowledge of my father's affairs, hints about money, a cancer that went into remission before it returned. Regret after regret. She kept these from us, I said, rage and grief trading places in my chest. Why? Control, I answered myself. Dad's control of the narrative. If we reconnected, his story fell apart. Amanda nodded. He told me you were unstable. Attention-seeking. That finding you would encourage destructive behavior. She looked up, eyes raw. I should have tried harder. You did, I said, touching the stack. We both did. Her phone buzzed incessantly. Finally, she answered on speaker. The Caldwell's campaign manager. Amanda, we need you at the senator's house tomorrow for press prep. The statement is ready. You'll look shocked and supportive of Thomas. What if I don't attend? She asked quietly. A pause. Not an option. Your prenup includes clauses on family loyalty and public appearances. Refuse, and you'll be in breach. Immediate annulment. Damages. She hung up stunned. I knew the prenup was intense, she whispered. I didn't realize I'd signed away my spine. You have options, I said. Stay with me. Use my guest room as long as you need. We'll find you real work with people who don't care about your pedigree. She looked around my apartment. Not Mitchell nice. But mine. You really built a life without their help, she said softly. Not without help, I corrected. Just not theirs. We visited my mother the next day. She looked smaller, but her eyes were clear. You found the letters, she said. Why, Mom? I asked. Why keep us apart? She closed her eyes. He convinced me it was for the best. That contact would harm you both. I was weak. I wanted stability. She opened her eyes. It's unforgivable. I'm asking for forgiveness anyway. I swallowed. I'm working on it. It'll take time. Time, she said with a wry smile, is the one thing I don't have. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer doesn't negotiate. New rhythms emerged in the weeks that followed. Amanda moved into my guest room and broke from the Caldwells despite legal threats. My mother chose a hospice near my apartment. My father sat in federal custody, denied bail as a flight risk. The media swarmed at first, cameras outside my building, reporters at the hospice, but we gave no interviews. We were busy building something new out of ashes. At work, the firm removed me from healthcare cases, but kept me on other financial crime matters. The FBI's case surged ahead, charging my father, his office manager, and 2 other doctors. Amanda rebuilt. She took a temp job at a small gallery, then landed a position in museum administration. I always wanted to work in the art world, she confessed over takeout one night. Dad said it wasn't Mitchell-worthy. What else did you want? I asked. Travel that wasn't to luxury resorts, she said. Friends who weren't strategic. A relationship built on love, not pedigree. She smiled sadly. I was the good daughter who stayed. You left, and somehow you got free. A month later, my father asked to see us. Against my better judgment, I went with Amanda to the detention center. He'd lost weight. Still trying to command the room. This case will be thrown out, he said immediately. My attorney will suppress evidence collected by a vindictive family member. The FBI built their case independently, I said. He waved me off. I need character statements. Family solidarity. Amanda and I exchanged a look. That's why you asked us here, she asked. Not to apologize? There is nothing to apologize for, he said flatly. Everything I did was for this family. By slicing into people who didn't need it? I asked. By risking lives for profit? Medicine is a business, he said. I maximized returns. People died, Amanda whispered. He looked uncomfortable, then shrugged. Complications happen. That's why there's insurance. We left without promising him anything. In the parking lot, Amanda cried. He's still trying to control us, she said. He may never change, I told her. But we can. 6 months after the wedding that became an arrest, autumn lit Central Park on fire outside my office window. On my desk, a photo of Amanda and me at the Brooklyn Botanic Garden, real smiles this time. A hospice schedule reminder next to it. The trial was set for January. My father refused a plea. His license was suspended. His assets were frozen. The Connecticut house was in foreclosure, its contents inventoried for victim compensation. The judge ruled the FBI's independent work admissible, regardless of how the case began. My mother declined quickly. I've lived in beautiful prisons for decades, she told me on a lucid afternoon. First my parents' expectations, then your father's control. I don't mind dying, Rebecca. I just regret not living honestly sooner. Linda, she insists I call her Linda now, brought casseroles and perspective. You've come full circle, she said one night. From a homeless student to an attorney bringing justice and rebuilding family. Not a circle, I told her. A new path. I don't want reconciliation on their terms. I want truth. The call came on a crisp October morning. Mom's gone, Amanda said, voice steady and shattered at once. The funeral was small, loyal friends, distant relatives, hospice nurses who loved her. My father attended under guard suit instead of jumpsuit, handcuffs off, but marshals at his side. He looked old. When he stood over her casket, grief cracked his face. He whispered something we'll never know, then let the marshals lead him away. Outside, he was given a minute with us. Your mother loved you both, he said, voice rough. We know, Amanda replied softly. She told us. He nodded, suddenly 63 going on 90. I'd like to see you again. Amanda looked at me. We'll think about it, I said. As they led him off, he turned. I did love her. In my way. I nodded once. That was always the problem, wasn't it? After the burial, we stood in my apartment, hands wrapped around mugs of tea, city lights blinking like a new heartbeat. What happens now? Amanda asked. We keep going, I said. one day at a time. We visited our old house before the auction. Empty rooms echo differently. The formal dining room where silence was a weapon. The staircase I used to storm up. Amanda's pink bedroom. My own room stripped after I left. In my mother's closet, we found a small fireproof box, birth certificates, old photos, a sporadic journal. We sat on the floor and read. She was more self-aware than I gave her credit for, married for security, fighting depression, drowning in denial. I don't want the furniture, Amanda said, standing. Too many ghosts. I'll take Mom's piano, I said. That one holds music. The auction proceeds went to victims. A small portion covered my mother's final expenses. Mitchell wealth built on fraud, maintained through appearances, was dismantled piece by piece. January brought snow and court. We attended opening and closing statements, but spared ourselves the day-by-day pain. The evidence was overwhelming. After 8 days of testimony and 6 hours of deliberation, the jury said guilty on every count. At sentencing, the judge didn't sugarcoat it. You violated the most sacred trust between physician and patient, she said. Motivated by greed, sustained by deception, resulting in needless suffering and death. 18 years in federal prison. Outside, reporters swarmed. Amanda stepped up steady. Today brings accountability, not joy, she said. There are no winners when trusted professionals abuse their power. Our hearts are with the patients and families who suffered. And then, finally, the cameras turned elsewhere. We built a new tradition, Sunday dinners at my place with Linda and the friends who carried us through. A chosen family, bound by loyalty and honesty, not optics. One night, as spring returned, Amanda raised a glass. To Rebecca, she said, who had the courage to leave and the strength to return? Who chose truth over comfort and justice over silence? Linda smiled. To both of you for rebuilding on honesty this time. After everyone left, Amanda dried the wine glasses. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you hadn't left that night? Sometimes, I admitted. But I wouldn't be me. And you wouldn't be you. She laughed softly. It took losing everything to find myself. Not everything, I nudged her. You still have me. I shifted my legal focus to advocacy for elderly victims of financial exploitation. Amanda found an apartment near mine and thrived at the Met, finally putting her art history degree to work for something real. Sometimes I drive to Pennsylvania to see my father. Our conversations are hard. He struggles to own what he did. I don't go for him as much as I go for me, to keep choosing truth over the easy lie that villains are simple and victims are spotless. Life is messy. People are messy. Healing is messy. But it's possible. If there's a lesson here, it's this: family secrets always surface. The longer they're buried, the more damage they cause when they rise. And true family? It's the people who choose you in the light, who stand beside you when the truth is inconvenient, not just when the photo looks good. What would you have done in my place? Walk into that ballroom with the folder, or walk away? Have you ever had to choose between keeping the peace and speaking up? Tell me what you think, I really want to know. And if this journey hit home, tap like so others can find it, and subscribe for more real stories about family, power, and the complicated road to healing.